Good morning. Right, firstly, don't switch off. I know I haven't got a headlining and the car doesn't look very nice, but it's still worth watching the video. I did 3 videos yesterday in this car and the average view duration in each one of those videos was really low, and I don't necessarily think that it was because they were not very good videos. I thought the content was quite good, and the AMG one was really good, but nobody made it to the good bit when I put in the Father Ted, Dougal and Manuel from Faulty Towers bit. Nobody made it to that bit because YouTube tells me that you all only watched for 4 minutes and 9 seconds. And I think that was because people were looking at this roof and thinking, oh, Jeff, your car looks terrible. I'm not watching that crap. Right, I want to talk about buying cars. Hey, on the Jeff Buys Cars channel. I made the biggest mistake yesterday in buying a car. Some of you know that I bought a car on eBay on Sunday night. It's quite a convoluted story, this one, but basically I'm doing this Benidorm trip. I'm planning on using this car. However, things have changed a little bit in that now my wife and kids are flying out to meet me after I've finished with the Lee MacMaster Challenge. That means that this is now more than just a banger rally. It's no longer a case of, can I get down there in the cheapest diesel Volvo that I can find, because now it also needs to be relatively comfortable for when my family arrive. The problem that this car has: non-functioning air conditioning, non-sunroof, the boot doesn't open from the outside, that door doesn't open from the inside or the outside, and that's it in terms of like main problems. Now that's fine for me. I would quite happily drive this car down to Benidorm, but when family get involved, then, as I say, there's like a safety implication of that door not opening. The boot lock has fallen out, so even if I get the boot working from the outside, I can't lock the boot from the outside, and we're going to have our luggage in here. So suddenly I'm on like panic mode of, what do I actually do? I could fix that door, but it involves a lot of drilling and cutting, and then I'm going to be driving down to Benidorm in a car with a ruined door card. I am going to put all of this back before the trip if I use this car, so don't worry about the state of it. So anyway, I start thinking, hang on a minute, this is like, I'm probably only going to do this trip once for YouTube, and I should be doing it in a really nice car, something that's perfect, basically. So I find my perfect car on eBay, and I buy it, and it's a lot more money than I normally spend on a car. And I made the biggest mistake ever when buying a car. We're getting to the meat of the video now. I'll tell you what the biggest mistake ever is when buying a car. Don't worry about, you know, doing all your checks and all that sort of stuff. Here's my thing. This is what jinxed it. Never send anyone a photo of the car you're buying until it's on your drive. You will jinx it. The car that I was buying was absolutely perfect. It looked absolutely perfect. So we're all ready to go. Everything's agreed with the seller. I've got a gentleman down there with the trailer, and the gentleman says, would you like me to check anything over for you before I put the car in the trailer and bring it to you? Bearing in mind it's about 4 times the price of anything I normally buy. I say, yeah, that'd be brilliant. If you can, do me a WhatsApp call. I'll show you some of the key areas to look at the car. And he does. And the minute he puts the phone underneath the car, despite the fact that this car looks like it's come out of the showroom, it's the best one I've seen in the perfect specification. I'm not going to go into details as to what the car is, because that'll all be in a later video, because that comes on to the next bit about the car that is now arriving today. Jeff Buys Cars is doing a lot of car content at the moment. Anyway, so the gentleman's down there. It's miles away. It's like 5 hours from my house. The deal is done. It's all agreed. I'm ready to transfer the money to the seller, a lot of money, and he's on WhatsApp video call, and I'm looking underneath this car, and I'm like, am I looking at the same car? Because the minute the phone goes underneath the car, suddenly the whole picture becomes different, and this car is rotten from the back to just in front of the rear wheels. And I'm thinking, wow, at this money, this car should be perfect. It should be absolutely perfect. It should be spot on. There should be no issues. And if I'd paid the money, and if that car had come up on the trailer, and if it had arrived today, and I'd gone around it and looked underneath that car, I would be hugely disappointed right now, because at the money that that car was being sold for, it shouldn't need £1,000 worth of rebuilt chassis rails and suspension mount points. It should have been perfect. But this is the thing with distance selling, and this is the thing with eBay, and this is the thing with not going to look at the car. Yeah, I can joke that, oh, it was all jinx because I bought a car when I was drunk for a lot of money, and then I sent my friends the photos because it looked like the best one in the country. If I hadn't sent anyone the photos, maybe the chassis rails wouldn't have been full of holes. But that's my thing. Never tell anyone what you're getting until you've got it. So maybe there's a little lesson there. So we are now, it's Wednesday today, which is good because I keep thinking it's Thursday. So I've somehow found a bonus day this week, which is great. It's Wednesday today. This car is going into the garage to have all of the parts fitted that I've ordered from Germany. They're all in the boot, look. You'll notice that there's a distinct lack of parts in the boot. I ordered £250 worth of parts to fit to this car pre-Benidorm from Autodoc in plenty of time. None of it arrived. I just keep getting emails saying your order's been delayed, your order's been delayed, your order's been delayed. I should have 4 springs, 2 top mounts, and loads, basically. I should have loads of bits to fit to this car to make it more ready for Benidorm, and I don't have any of it. What I've got is a set of control arms, trap rod control arms, which will be fitted, and then that will allow the car to go in a straight line because it's pulling to the left. But we're far from ready. So after that car fell through yesterday, I was then thinking, what am I going to do? Because I don't really want to drive. This car's a little bit of a shed at the moment, and I'm not going to be able to get it unshed like before Benidorm. And as I've said, my family are flying out. I want to do the trip in something nice. I want to do the trip in something that looks good for YouTube. It's got to look the part, both on Lee's footage when I go past him every time he's charging, and it's got to have a nice interior. It's got to look nice on my camera. It's got to be something that I want to take photos of. So it's got to be the right car for the trip. This one's, don't get me wrong, if everything fails, I can still use this car and it will be okay. But also, this car will absolutely trounce him. Flies. Because it's a diesel and it'll do 45, 50 miles to the gallon. So it'd be more interesting, wouldn't it, if we... I need to sneeze. I'm allergic to police. It'd be more interesting if I did the trip in something that was luxurious and comfortable and fast and more of a performance car that was closer to the performance of the Porsche Taycan. That's where I've got to with it. So instead of another EV versus diesel long distance challenge, this one's going to be evened out a little bit if today goes to plan. There's still a lot riding on Wednesday, and then Thursday, and then Friday it's school disco time. So Friday I can't really do much on cars anyway because it's school disco time, and then we're pretty much on the ferry. So 2 days before a 1,300 mile road trip, and I'm not at this stage sure what car I'm going to be doing it in. Lee's a little bit stressed about the distance and the range and stuff on his car. His car's going into the garage tomorrow to be checked over. He has had his tyres looked at, and they reckon he's got enough mileage on his tyres to do the trip anyway, so he doesn't need a set of tyres, which is annoying because I was hoping that he would need a set of tyres. But that's basically all still to play for, because anything could happen at this stage. So my apologies for the clickbait title. My apologies for the fact that this car has no headlining, but I don't need to apologize to you because you only watched for 4 minutes and 19 seconds because you got sick of me talking to my camera about the fact that I've got no headlining. So if you made it to the end of this morning's video, please post a comment that says, Jeff, I don't mind that you haven't got a headlining in your car. I'm here for the content, not the aesthetics. Oh, that's a good code word, isn't it? Right, the garage people have just turned up, so let's get this show on the, quite literally, let's get this show on the road.